Welcome back to There Is No America Without Erica. We all need a little Erica in our lives. You know, one of those things I've noticed over the last several years is that the federal government almost never walks into court and says, this thing is illegal. Instead, they walk into court and say, this thing plus these other things plus what we think you intended equals illegal. And if that sounds familiar, that's because we've seen this movie before. Well, now we're seeing it again in the Jordan Derrick case. And this week, the government just escalated things. A federal grand jury returned a superseding indictment adding a brand new destructive device count against Derrick, bringing his total exposure up to 50 years in federal prison. And the legal theory behind that new count should have every content creator paying attention. Because this case isn't really about thermite, it isn't really about explosives, and it isn't even really about Jordan Derrick. It's about where the government believes knowledge ends and criminal conduct begins. But before we get into that, if you'd like to support the channel, check out onlytechnicalfans.myshopify.com. We've got medical gear, preparedness supply, slings, cleaning mats, long-term food storage products, and growing list of equipment for people who believe in being prepared instead of dependent. Now let's talk about what just happened. Jordan Derrick is a 40-year-old Army veteran from Missouri. Not just a veteran. For those unfamiliar, sappers receive specialized training involving military engineering, demolitions, breaching, and explosives. According to the government, Derrick began publishing educational videos back in 2023. The videos allegedly covered the chemistry and science behind various explosive compounds. They were distributed through multiple platforms, including YouTube, Patreon, Odessa, or however you pronounce it, and the other subscription-based sites. The government claims Derrick generated revenue from that content. Then everything changed. Federal investigators allege that a suspect involved in New Orleans attack downloaded Derrick's videos. Later, after an accidental explosion in Odessa, Missouri, investigators claim another individual told them he learned how to mix the compounds from Derrick's tutorials. Whether those allegations ultimately hold up in court remains to be seen. But prosecutors clearly intend to use those incidents as evidence that Derrick's videos weren't merely educational. They intend to argue the information produced real-world criminal consequences, and that's where this case becomes incredibly important. Most people think Derrick was just charged with making bombs. That's not really what is happening. The first charge alleges he was operating an explosive manufacturing business without the required federal licensings. The government's theory is that producing demonstrations, creating compounds, and monetizing that activity transformed it from a hobby to educational endeavor into a business. The second destructive device charge centers on physical items allegedly recovered during the investigation. But the newest count is where things get interesting. The government added an entirely separate destructive device allegation focused on thermite-related materials. Now let's stop right there because I can already hear the comments. Thermite itself is not automatically illegal. Railroads have used thermite, industry has used thermite, welders have used thermite, demonstrations involving thermite have existed for decades. The government is not claiming thermite magically became contraband. Instead, prosecutors appear to be using a theory called constructive possession. And constructive possession is where things get dangerous because constructive possession doesn't necessarily require a completed item. It can involve combination of parts, collection of components, materials that prosecutors believe were intended to become something else. In simple terms, the government isn't saying, here's the finished device. They're saying, here are the pieces. Here is the intent. And together we believe that equals a destructive device. If that sounds familiar to longtime viewers, that's because you've heard similar arguments before in other federal cases. The legal battle becomes less about what physically exists and more about what prosecutors believe someone intended to create. That's why this new count matters, because now the government isn't merely talking about information, they're talking about components, intent, purpose, and constructive position. Then we get to what is probably the most significant charge in the entire case, the information distribution count. This charge carries a potential 20-year sentence by itself, and this is where the First Amendment fight begins. Supporters of Derrick argue he was publishing information, nothing more. They argue he was teaching science, teaching chemistry, teaching concepts, teaching knowledge he lawfully obtained through military service and study. Their argument is simple. Information is not a crime. The government sees it differently. Federal prosecutors are relying on a narrow exception that allows criminal penalties when information relating to explosives is distributed knowing or intending that it be used for criminal activity. Notice the key words there, knowing or intending, because that's the battlefield. The government doesn't merely have to show he published information. They have to convince a jury that he crossed the line from education into criminal facilitation. And if you really think about it, it's pretty much when you go to court and there's jury trial, it's really all about manipulating the jury. It's not the truth or anything, or the evidence or any of that. It's all about manipulation. It's fucking bullshit. So you never really have a fair chance. Like, do you actually have a fair shot? No, I don't think so. Anyways, and that is a very different thing. The defensive will almost certainly argue that once you start criminalizing information because of what somebody else does with it, you entered very dangerous territory. Because where does that stop? If a chemistry lesson can become criminal because somebody abuses it, what about engineering courses? What about military history channels? What about survival channels? What about educational content generally? Those are questions the courts may eventually have to answer. The prosecution, meanwhile, will likely argue that this case is not about abstract education at all. They will argue that the content was specifically designed to teach the manufacture of explosive devices and that the resulting incidents demonstrate exactly why the law exists. Two completely different stories, one jury, one courtroom, and now 4 federal counts. That's why this case deserves attention, not because an indictment means guilt, it doesn't, not because allegations equal convictions, they don't, but because this case is rapidly becoming a major test of where federal prosecutors believe the line exists between education, instruction, intent, and criminal responsibility. And with the addition of the new thermite-based destructive device count, that fight just got a whole lot bigger. A whole lot bigger. All right, if you'd like to support the channel, head over to onlytechnicalfans.myshopify.com. We've got preparedness gear, medical supplies, slings, cleaning mats, long-term food storage products, and growing catalogs of products designed for people who prepare self-reliance over dependence. Thank you for watching, and I'll keep you updated on this case and how it develops. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And also, if you guys have some shopping to do at Amazon, don't forget to click our link down below. And even when you don't buy what's in our store, just because you clicked off our link from our channel, we get a little kickback. And we greatly appreciate it. And until next video, guys, peace.